So it looks like the divorce between Kenya Moore of the Real Housewives of Atlanta and her estranged husband, Marc Daly, is getting nastier because now Marc Daly is asking the court to hold Kenya in contempt after their daughter Brooklyn was present for the recent Real Housewives of Atlanta fight between Kenya and Marlo. So apparently this is all
Marlo's fault.
Welcome back to the Kempire channel, your number one source for pop culture news and music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. As always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. So, as you recall, this divorce between Kenya Moore and Marc Daly has lasted longer than their actual marriage. There have been several different stories over the last few weeks that have come out. Marc Daly losing his legal team, him representing himself, him accusing Kenya of slowing down this finalization of this divorce. And as you know, this divorce is about to go to trial. Well, now you may have seen that Marc is filing court documents stating that he wants his estranged wife, Kenya Moore, and the mother of his child, to be held in contempt. And it's all based off of things that we've all seen on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. So, Radar Online reports this. They said Kenya Moore's estranged husband, Marc Daly, has demanded the reality star be found in contempt of court after their daughter, Brooklyn, was present for an RHOA fight. This is what they've learned. According to the court documents obtained by Radar, Marc is furious that the 4-year-old was present during filming when RHOA star Marlo Hampton attempted to kick down the door of Kenya's hotel room. Where Brooklyn was supposedly sleeping. So you may remember in that scene, a lot of us were, first of all, we didn't see the need, even if Brooklyn was in the room, for Marlo to go to Kenya's room and to kick down the door. We talked about this, we recapped this, but Kenya said that her daughter was in the room at the time. And before we get into this, like, this is why children should not be on a girls' trip. Well, no. At this point, I don't believe Brooklyn being on the girls' trip has affected these girls' trips. Maybe on some level. Maybe the ladies would speak better on this than us because they're there for it. However, we also know that Kenya does not have a, quote, village to help take care of Brooklyn when she has to work. This is her job. And Marc lives in New York. So he's not someone she can go, oh, I'm going to drop Brooklyn off with you for a few days because I'm filming blah, blah, blah. We'll get more into that in just a second because I just want to answer some of the things that you guys are saying and just to remind you what happened in that scene. Marlo wasn't the only one that kicked the door, but she was the one that really got into a fight with Kenya in that moment.
Bang out my goddamn door!
Summer!
What's wrong with you?
Nothing, Summer!
My child is here! What the f*** Psycho asshole!
So Radar continues, it says, Marc and Kenya are in the middle of a bitter divorce war. They are set to face off in a trial later this month. Before the divorce, Kenya filed a separate case over custody, pleading for primary custody. As a part of the case, Marc fought to keep Brooklyn off of RHOA. But you may recall that did not work. In the end, the parties agreed Kenya would have sole custody of Brooklyn, with Marc having visitation. I don't know the last time Marc Daly saw his daughter. Look, we don't know. I'm sure just because he doesn't post about it doesn't mean that he hasn't seen her. But remember, he lives in New York. Kenya lives in Atlanta. The judge ruled the minor could appear on the Real Housewives of Atlanta, but with restrictions. The judge said he was not convinced and no evidence has been shown that Kenya would place Brooklyn in any environment that might not be in the minor child's best interest or may in any way be considered dangerous or inappropriate. So this is important to note. As a part of the court order, the judge ruled that Kenya would have the final authority to decide to include Brooklyn on RHOA or for any other economic opportunities. However, the judge said that Kenya was required to discuss the opportunity with Marc. Kenya shall notify Marc of any opportunities where the minor child will appear on camera and shall advise Marc of the content of the appearance. The minor child will only be involved in opportunities that are age appropriate. So according to Radar Online, they said Marc's new filed motion, he claims Kenya violated the court order by filming a home run in pizza commercial prominently featuring Brooklyn without any discussion with him. Marc said he learned of the commercial through the internet. Further, he said the court orders stated Marc shall be allowed daily telephonic and or video visitation with the minor child. Also, so visitation for Marc really also includes phone and like video chats. So when has he seen Brooklyn physically? When was the last time? I'm just wondering. I'm just saying. So Marc said he repeatedly requests calls and FaceTimes with Brooklyn and provides available times, but claims Kenya fails to respond. He said he's only talked to Brooklyn twice in June and accused Kenya of refusing to cooperate with in-person visits. Marc asked the court to take note of Kenya's behavior during the divorce trial. He asked that she be ordered to pay his legal fees associated with the recent motion. So that is an element that we have to think about. Does he really make these efforts to see Brooklyn and to chat with Brooklyn? Or is he using these accusations as a way for Kenya to be held in contempt and for her to have to pay his legal fees? Okay, putting that to the side, because we don't know the ins and outs of Kenya's relationship with Marc Daly. We all just want this divorce to be over with. And it's getting messy because now it involves the show. So we already talked about how the judge gave permission to Kenya for Brooklyn to be featured on the show. Now, because of Marlo's behavior, sorry Marlo, we got to call a thing. Because you know that she's going through this custody battle, that's another reason not to go up to her room. Because I think all of us that aren't even on this trip would know, more than likely, Brooklyn's in this room with Kenya. If Kenya has said goodnight for the night, more than likely, Brooklyn's in this room with her. And for just that in the back of your mind, I'm not going to go bother her. I'm not going to go, or at least if you're going to go knock on the door. Don't stomp on the door. Don't scare a child, potentially. Now, because of that moment being featured on the show, now this could affect the custody situation and the divorce situation for Kenya Moore. And I know what some of you are saying, well, Kenya also put herself in this position when you're filming with people like Marlo or Sheree. Because Sheree wants to deny that she banged on the door too. This is not good. This is not I just look forward to the day where we can move on from talking about the Marc Daly situation. However, I don't think that day will ever come because they have to co-parent on some level. Even though she has primary custody, they still have to co-parent until she's at least 18. But I'm not surprised by him filing this motion because was he really concerned about Brooklyn in that instant, or was it this just an open opportunity for him to be like, oh, see, she's not doing what she's supposed to be doing. Now lean in my favor when it comes to the things that I want in this divorce, including paying my legal fees. Very much like what I said on our Real Housewives of Atlanta recap about Kandi, and I say the longer she's on the show, the more that it becomes a liability for her. Now I'm seeing the same, and I know, Kenya, this is a major money for you, and it opens up other opportunities for you so you can take care of your child. But this is also the issue with being on a show like this, especially with someone like Marlo, that isn't going to respect, like, you know what, maybe her child is in the room. I'm not going to bang on the door. I'm not going to fight with her. And even if you banged on the door and you didn't think about it in that moment, the minute she says that my child is in here, that's the opportunity for you to be like, you know what, I'm just going to fall back. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. And now it's opened a can of worms that could potentially hurt her in this divorce, hurt her when it comes to her custody. And I know if it really affects her custody, I already know this reunion is going to be a mess because you know Kenya's going to bring it up. You know she's going to be like, because of you, you've caused an issue with the custody situation of my child. And that is more than real. Guys, as always, I want to know your thoughts and reaction to Marc Daly's recent court motion about custody, about what played out in front of our own eyes on reality television. Let's continue the conversation there. As always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. Thanks for watching.
You bring the lighter, I got the fuse. You make a fire. I'll